entropy criteria. Entropy means which gives you a lesser values of randomness. I tell you, I just simplify it in a very simple criteria. Now, suppose I'm having this particular data set, and my sex column that I have seen is having two categories, right? That category is female and male. Now, if I see only two columns, first is your sex, second one is your pass and fail, your pass column. So your decision classifier will check whether this column is actually affecting your output or not. In what way it is affecting your output? Like, is it like, should I assume that all girls, they are passed and all boys are failed? Is it like this, or is it like an evenly based? So I'll be choosing that feature which actually is generating or dividing the data set in lesser randomness. Means it might be like the 50%, there are 50% males, all the girls in this data set, unme se bhi 50% they have passed or they are 50% of it. Or boys are also like this, that all boys 50% are failed, 50% are passed. Is it like this? So that means the lesser randomness. But is it like कि उनका जो division है हमारा for an input feature, the division in terms of how it is calculating or affecting the output column, if it is generating more randomness, means that column is giving you maximum entropy. So that is the word that we use in order to choose that column for decision tree classifier is called as information gain. That which column is giving you maximum information. So that is the criteria that is chosen for entropy. So in case you want to go for entropy, you can write it like this. In case you want to go for Gini index, you can just stop it because default is your Gini. Practically, what I tell you, my experience is that you choose any of entropy or Gini. You may see on this particular example also, even if you choose Gini, that will not be affecting the accuracy of this model much. So practically they don't actually affect the output, but in some of the data sets might be like, it might affect. So you need to create two models based upon entropy and Gini. So you can see how much one actually differs from another one in the basis of your accuracy value. Second column is your depth of the tree. So that will decide, that is also needed to be given in. So uske liye we need just max depth. So max depth is what you can start with your max depth as you want your classifier to actually find out the output on the basis of 5 or 6 questions only, or you want 10 or 20. We are having 30 columns. So out of 30, what are those most important ones which are actually affecting your output? So can I start from 5? So I can start with 5, but you can see later on, and we can put it in loop also, that what should be the exact depth of my model, which is giving me the actual or maximum accuracy, right? So just created a model first, as you have just created. Now you need to do is, you need to just get you can go for cross validation also. But in case you don't want to go for cross validation, you just can find out the score. You just can find out the score directly. Your model is ready. You need to just find out, you just need to get the particular model fit. So how you just can get the model fit in, you just can go for your fit method. So that is one fundamental method that you can use in with every model, whether you have trained your model on logistic regression algorithm. So even if you can, that fit is having a general form that needs your training data. So you are fitting, the fit method is basically your actual training. So you are training your model on the basis of your trained data. So you need to give two parts of your training data, your X test and your Y test. Sorry, not test, in fact, X train and Y train. So my X train is basically right now is ATT, and second one, your Y train is your D train pass. So you have shown your data. This way, you are showing your data, first 500 rows to the model and asking it to learn. that these 500 students actually were even passed or did fail based upon these input values. So you have shown that input data, you're asking it to get itself trained. So once it is fit, means that is your T dot fit. So once you just fit in, you will see that your model is ready. Now, once it is ready, now you can do what? You just can get the score. You just can get your model tested. You just can go for getting your model tested for a particular score. Then you can just move on to have a score. That score is basically giving you a testing. You know that you want to do what? It's a kind of prediction. So now that after it is trained, you want to show it the test data, your test data, and you just want to get it matched with its original values. So using score, you can directly give it. You can directly do it. Otherwise, but we are having another methods where we can just predict first, and we use predict method first, then we match your predicted values with your test values. So this score method does both the things together. So आपको यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं करना, you need to just pass on your test and you just need to pass on your D test passed. To show it the test data and it will be providing you the values. So you'll see that your accuracy of the model will come in directly. So these are just the steps that you have done in fact, starting from first one to this one. In fact, in between, I have just made use of some fundamental things. Otherwise, in between, once you see this decision tree classifier being made of, this decision, we can just visualize this whole decision tree in the form of a tree, in the form of we can get a PDF file being generated, or we can have a JPG file of that whole decision tree that it has just created in order to visualize that. How or which were the features, in fact, which it chose on to actually predict the values, those can also be seen on the basis of this decision tree classifier visualization. We'll move on to visualization also slowly. As we'll move ahead, I'll give you a demonstration of many of the visualization tools which can actually give you a visualization of even the whole model, the output model that you have gotten, and in fact all the data also. Right. So not only that, you will be able to be in a position where you can see that whether my prediction is actually going to be a good one or not, that is there. Right. So don't feel like that 66% is very less one. It depends on the data because data has not been generated by me. You can do what? You can just check in that whether this 66%, whether it has given to me is actually the 66% or not. Why I'm saying it that if you just train it again and again, you're not going to be affected much because the shuffling of the rows, shuffling of the data. Is it like every time you just get it trained or asking it to train, you are feeding it the same 500 rows for training all the time? If you are giving it the same 500 rows all the time to get it trained, its accuracy is not going to be increased. So you need to do what? You can cross-validate this model by shuffling your data set and giving it all the time a different kind of validation set and getting the score matched with. So in that case, you can see what is your cross-validation score and match it with the accuracy that you have previously generated and see that is it a balanced data set. So sometimes your data set is also having faults. It might not be a good data set at all. So we can predict on the basis of some further calculations whether it is fitting my score or not. Right? So that's it. I think the time is also coming up. Up to now, are you having any query right now?
Participants, you have any query? Lochan, you were asking something. Sir, Lochan was asking that which is can learn how to build in advanced level, by which I can learn.
I don't understand Lochan's question.
Lochan, can you ask again? Sorry,
you can speak up, Lochan.
Okay. Okay, Lochan, we have more session of sir. So be ready with your mic and all the things in next session. It's okay. We'll take again in next session your query. Anyone else wish to ask something?
Hello,
Yeah, Lochan, please go ahead.
sir. I want to ask that what are content available, like projects or anything on internet, so by which I can learn to how to make projects in ML.
Lochan, I would suggest you, in fact, because you're asking for the project. In fact, you shouldn't ask for the project. You should ask for a data set to be operated upon. You should ask for a domain. You should first think that in which domain you want to create an intelligent model. So that domain will actually give you the findings whether on that domain somebody else has actually collected the data or not. So in case there is a standard data set already available, somebody has already researched and on the basis of its survey, he has created the data set, that data set can be helpful for you. But in case you don't have the data set available, you will have to create a data set first based upon some standard procedures. So you should actually think of the domain first and then search for the right data set available on the net. Kaggle is the site, that is the standard site. You can go for and explore that site as a whole. That is a wonderful site right now and heaven for all machine learning experts. So you can find what you can have a data set available to any kind of a domain, maybe your medical domain, maybe your textual domain, text mining, your speech data, your images data, you may find any data, right? And see that whether that data is actually the data correct one, which can lead you to a one particular output value or a model that you want to go for generation. In case it is not, then you will have to generate. You will have to do an exercise first, right? Spend some time in collection of data first, and then work on that data.
Okay, so thank you.
So, anybody else wish to say something, ask something? Okay, sir. So time is already 11:06. So I hope shall we wind up the session, Sushil sir?
Yeah, of course, Himanshu sir. In fact, later on also you can ask the participants in case they want something different from me in the next couple of sessions that I'll be having. So I'll definitely give it. And this notebook that I'm just working in, I'll continue with this notebook tomorrow onwards also. But today itself also, up to today's part, I'll be sending this whole Jupyter notebook to you by mail. You can distribute it to all the participants.
Sure, sir. And one more, Vedant Sen asking for the PPT. Is it possible to share the content, sir?
PPT is not having anything. You saw that I don't actually my PPT was not having anything. So it was
Yeah,
all,
understood.
it was all that Jupyter notebook that was carrying the content. So data is having only 4 slides just containing an image and 4 text. Doesn't need anything. And still, if you want, I'll definitely send it. And in the next sessions also, that PPT I'll be keeping on adding some content to that PPT. So I prefer that PPT. I will send it to at the last of the session once I complete all the sessions. So that complete PPT I will be sending you, and the whole Jupyter notebook I will be also sending you then.
And one more thing, Vedant, we already uploaded the video on our YouTube channel. So you can watch the things over there. So, okay, sir, thank you very much. I hope participant will get lots of things in practice or with Jupyter Notebook, and they will do with the rest of time. So thanks once again, sir. See you tomorrow at the same time with the new session. Thank you very much, sir. So participants, we have the next session at 11:30 with the next our expert. Dr. Dubey sir. So be stay, and we will meet again at 11:30. So thank you very much. We will again meet at sharp 11:30 with the next expert.